World War II was a massive global conflict completely defined by industrial might and terrifying steel monsters. On the bloody battlefields of Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific, armored warfare evolved at a truly breakneck pace, from highly reliable, mass-produced workhorses that overwhelmed the enemy with sheer numbers to heavily armored titans that struck fear into the hearts of any soldier who crossed their path. These legendary machines changed the face of frontline combat forever. But which armor truly dominated the greatest military conflict in human history? In this video, we are counting down the top 10 best tanks of World War II, based on their destructive firepower, armor protection, mechanical reliability, and strategic impact. We will look closely at the legendary workhorses and the terrifying apex predators that ruled the battlefields. Buckle up tightly, start your roaring engines, and let's count down to the ultimate armored king of the world. The Type 97 Chiha was the most widely produced Japanese medium tank of World War II. Initially designed for infantry support rather than heavy tank-on-tank duels, it proved surprisingly effective in the early stages of the war. During the Rapid Malayan Campaign and the fall of Singapore, its remarkably lightweight allowed it to traverse difficult jungle terrain and soft, muddy soils, where heavier Western tanks would easily bog down and become completely useless. However, as the brutal war progressed into the Pacific Islands, its thin armor and low-velocity 57mm main gun proved totally inadequate against modern American armor like the M4 Sherman. Despite these severe tactical limitations in the later half of the war, the Chiha remains the ultimate symbol of Japanese armored engineering during the conflict, fighting tenaciously from the borders of Manchuria all the way to the volcanic beaches of Iwo Jima until the bitter end. The cruiser M3 Crusader was one of the primary British cruiser tanks during the early years of World War II. It quickly became the absolute backbone of the British armored forces during the highly dynamic and brutal Western Desert Campaign in North Africa. Built specifically for speed and high mobility, the Crusader was designed to bypass enemy lines and strike quickly at vulnerable supply chains across the vast, open and scorching desert sands of the front lines. Unfortunately, the tank suffered heavily from mechanical unreliability due to the harsh desert dust and severe cooling system issues. Furthermore, its initial 2-pounder gun lacked explosive firepower, making it weak against dug-in German anti-tank defenses and early Panther variants. Despite these glaring flaws, the Crusader played a vital role in slowing Axis advances and securing crucial victories like El Alamein, paving the way for later British tank designs to emerge. The Panzer IV was the true unsung workhorse of the German Wehrmacht. While flashy heavy tanks like the Tiger and Panther grabbed all the historical headlines, the Panzer IV was the only German tank to remain in continuous mass production throughout the entire duration of World War II. Initially designed as an infantry support vehicle, its robust chassis proved incredibly adaptable to the changing needs of the battlefield as the conflict escalated globally. Continually upgraded with thicker armor and the lethal long-barrel 75mm gun, it could successfully go toe-to-toe with modern Allied tanks like the Soviet T-34 and American Sherman. Over 8,500 units were built, fighting on every single front from France to the Eastern Front. Its unmatched versatility, mechanical reliability, and ease of maintenance made it Germany's most important armored asset, anchoring their desperate defense until the final days of the war. The M3 Stuart was an American light tank that provided exceptional service across multiple global fronts. Known affectionately by British troops as Honey due to its smooth ride, the Stuart was famous for its high speed, agility, and remarkable mechanical reliability. Powered by a radial aircraft engine, it could fly across rugged terrain at speeds exceeding 36 miles per hour. This made it an absolute dream for scouting, reconnaissance, and fast flanking maneuvers. While its light 37mm gun and thin armor meant it could not stand up to heavy German tanks in direct combat, it excelled in the Pacific theater against lighter Japanese armor. Its ease of mass production allowed thousands of units to be shipped to allies via Lend-Lease, making it a critical asset for Soviet, British, and American reconnaissance units, who relied heavily on its extreme speed and dependability to map out enemy positions with minimal risk. The Churchill tank was a massive, heavily armored British infantry tank designed specifically to withstand incredible battlefield punishment. Built with the grim lessons of trench warfare in mind, it featured a long chassis with wraparound tracks that allowed it to climb steep obstacles and cross deeply cratered landscapes with ease. What the Churchill lacked in top speed, it more than made up for in raw survivability, protecting its crew from deadly anti-tank weapons. Its frontal armor was exceptionally thick, often allowing it to shrug off direct hits from heavy German guns that would easily obliterate other Allied vehicles. Specialized variants, famously known as Hobart's funnies, were modified into flamethrowers, bridge layers, and minesweepers. These unique machines played a pivotal role during the D-Day landings, proving that stubborn endurance and specialized design can successfully crack the toughest enemy defenses. The Kliment Voroshilov I was a massive Soviet heavy tank that caused absolute panic within the German ranks during the opening stages of Operation Barbarossa in 1941. At the time of its introduction, the KV-1 was virtually invincible to almost every standard German anti-tank weapon. There are numerous legendary accounts of single KV-1 tanks completely halting entire advancing German divisions for days, absorbing dozens of direct hits without taking any critical damage. Its thick steel armor and powerful 76mm main gun made it a terrifying defensive juggernaut on the Eastern Front. However, this immense protection came at a heavy cost. The tank was incredibly heavy, mechanically unreliable, and suffered from a terribly designed transmission that made driving it exhausting. While it was eventually phased out for lighter designs, the KV-1 bought the Soviet Union precious time to relocate factories and prepare for a long, total war. The M4 Sherman is the legendary tank that won World War II through sheer industrial dominance, unmatched logistics, and brilliant versatility. While individual German tanks often possessed superior armor and heavier guns, the Sherman excelled where it mattered most: reliability, ease of repair, and massive production numbers. Over 50,000 Shermans were manufactured, forming the absolute backbone of the American, British, French, and even Soviet armored forces during the war. Its mechanical parts were highly standardized, meaning it could be repaired quickly right on the front lines using basic tools. The Sherman was also highly adaptable, spawning deadly specialized variants like the tank-destroying Sherman Firefly and the swimming duplex drive tanks used on D-Day. It was highly mobile, safe for its crew, and possessed excellent turret traverse speed, proving that wars are won by reliable, mass-produced machines rather than complex prototypes. The Panzerkampfwagen V Panther is widely considered by military historians to be the blueprint for the modern main battle tank. Rushed into production to counter the shocking appearance of the Soviet T-34, the Panther combined three crucial elements perfectly: sloped armor, high mobility, and devastating firepower. Equipped with a long-barrel 75mm Cabo K-42 gun, it could easily penetrate any Allied tank from long range, while its heavily sloped frontal armor made it nearly impervious. Its wide tracks and complex torsion bar suspension gave it excellent cross-country mobility over mud and snow. However, the Panther was plagued by early mechanical failures, complex manufacturing requirements, and a weak final drive that often broke under stress. Despite these technical flaws, when fully functional on the battlefield, the Panther was an absolute apex predator that heavily outclassed almost everything it faced in direct tank-on-tank engagements. The Soviet T-34 is arguably the most revolutionary and influential tank design in military history. When it debuted on the Eastern Front, it sent shockwaves through the German high command. The T-34 pioneered the widespread use of heavily sloped armor, which effectively doubled its defensive protection without adding excessive weight. Combined with wide tracks for navigating deep Russian mud and snow, and a powerful V12 diesel engine, it possessed the perfect balance of combat characteristics. Crucially, the T-34 was masterfully engineered for simple, rapid mass production in crude wartime factories. The Soviet Union turned out tens of thousands of these rugged machines, easily overwhelming the highly complex German defenses. It was the iron fist of the Red Army, driving the Wehrmacht all the way back to Berlin and sealing the fate of the Third Reich. Its strategic impact on the outcome of World War II cannot be overstated, making it an absolute legend. Taking our number 1 spot is the Panzer Kampfwagen 6 Tiger I, the most terrifying, iconic, and legendary heavy tank of World War II. Introduced in 1942, the Tiger was engineered as a pure breakthrough weapon, designed to crush enemy armor through overwhelming technological superiority. It featured a massive 88mm main gun that could destroy Allied tanks from distances well beyond their own firing range, giving it an unbelievable tactical advantage on the open battlefield. Wrapped in up to 100mm of heavy steel armor, the Tiger was nearly indestructible from the front during its early operations. The mere rumor of a Tiger in the area created widespread Tiger phobia among Allied crews. Elite aces used its terrifying firepower to rack up massive kill counts. While it was over-engineered, expensive to build, and difficult to maintain, no other tank in history matches the legendary status, psychological impact, and raw dread of the Tiger.